All right, we're here. We're live. It's Prop the Mic, presented by Props.cash. We're here on Thursday, November 16th, 2023. A nice little two-game NBA slate. How you feeling today, Dave?
Feeling great. I forget me. You've been ill the last couple days, which is part of the reason why our kind of volume of tweets and such has been lower than normal. Tom has just been like, what have you slept like 40 hours in the last 3 days or something?
Yeah, I was. It's been bad. Like I got hit by a ball. We're
Yeah,
uh we're pulling it together. The picks were kind of flowing today, so I'm feeling. I don't know what it was. I was kind of like worried that my head wasn't in it, but I don't know. They were just coming to me, so it's a good sign.
I agree. There's two games in the NBA tonight that we're going to cover, and that's it. There's only two games tonight, so it's a small slate. I spent probably an hour this morning looking at the picks, and there really wasn't a lot flowing.
That's it. There's only two games tonight.
And then I looked probably about an hour ago or so, and a bunch of new players were released. So there's a lot of interesting players, a lot of players that we haven't talked about in the past too. So hopefully you got some of
Yeah,
those guys. Yeah,
totally.
right.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So like you said, we're live. Got the chat room open as part of the feed. So if anybody's got questions, throw them in the chat room. We'll try to answer your questions. Hopefully basketball related only. But let's dive into the first game. We got the Nets 6-5 going up against the Heat 7-4. Heat are -3.5 at home. 214.5 is the total, so nice low total in this one. Ben Simmons out for the Nets, of course. Cam Thomas out as well, unfortunately, and then Tyler Hero is the big injury on the Heat side. Before we dive into the matchups, these two teams did play once earlier this year. Nets won that game 109-104. Bridges had the big game for the Nets, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Lonnie Walker had 17 points in that game, so maybe we'll talk about Lonnie in a little bit. And then on the Heat side, Hero had the big game with 30 points. Bam had a monster game, 21 points, 14 rebounds. And Jimmy had a pretty good game, 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. What do you like in the matchups today, Tom?
The ones that are sticking out the most here for scoring wise, Wings against Brooklyn is a really nice matchup. Rebounding, you got combo guards and wings against Brooklyn and bigs against Miami. And then for assists, we have combo guards and forwards against Miami. Those are the big ones that are sticking out here today. So what side do you want to start on?
Let's start with the Heat. How about that?
All right. I'm so excited to play this guy. I've been waiting. He's my son's favorite player. We got to see him a whole bunch of times playing at UCLA last year. He loves Jaime Jaquez. First time I'm getting to bet on this guy this season. Over 8.5 points, -122 on FanDuel. He's cleared in 3 straight games without Tyler Hero. Giant minute increase since Hero went out. I already went through the Wings versus Brooklyn is like the best scoring matchup we have in this game. Love this play tonight. Were you on Jaime as well?
I was. I think this guy's great. I think he has so much potential in the NBA. He's I don't know what was he a 4-year player at UCLA?
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he comes into the league with a lot of experience, and it's obvious. There's a lot of talk about his footwork and just like how advanced he is. I don't know. He's going up against a Nets team that seems to have a lot of holes defensively, and this is, like you said, a perfect matchup. Look at the last 6 games that he's played: 9-9, 11, 20, 11, and 17. I don't know. Just seems like a really good play. It's already a 9.5 on Caesars, but you can still get it at 8.5 on FanDuel. I wouldn't be surprised if every book is up to 10.5 by game time. So
yeah,
this line just came out like probably an hour ago. So I would jump on this one now.
Good call.
All right. What else do you got?
That's all I had on the Heat side.
I had just one pick. I thought there was an interesting split to discuss on the Heat side. Let's look at Jimmy. Where's Jimmy? There he is. So points looks a little high, right? 23.5 points. I'm laying off of that, but if I had to fade, if I had to go one way, I'd probably go with the fade. Rebounds at 5.5. So Jimmy's been kind of like up and down this year on rebounding, more down than up. But if you look at his home and away splits on the road, he's only cleared, let's look at just this year, in 1 of 5 games. If you look at home, he's cleared in 3 of 4 games. So, and one of which was against Brooklyn, where he had 7 rebounds. So I think this is a pretty good spot for rebounding against the Nets. If I'm correct, Jimmy's classified as a small forward. If we look at small forwards, there's also a lot of green there on props.cash. Let's just ignore Joe Ingles, but Franz, I think, is a pretty good comp for Jimmy. He probably has a little bit more height than Jimmy, but Denny, Kispert, Tatum, lots of good potential comps there. So all clearing. So what do you think about Jimmy 5.5 rebounds?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. It wasn't, he's in our model here. He's a forward. So I didn't mention that one as a good matchup, though it's not terrible. But I did call out wings versus Brooklyn. He's like a borderline wing / forward type player. So yeah, it's a nice matchup for him here. And yeah, I'd look more at the power forwards and the shooting guards. But yeah, I think it's a good. I think that's a good one.
All right, cool. So that's all I had on the Heat side as well. What do you got on the Net side?
All right, another guy I haven't played maybe ever, maybe once. I don't really remember, but Day'Ron Sharpe, over 12.5 PR, minus 106 on FanDuel. He's cleared this in 4 of 5 games without Ben Simmons this season, averaging 17.5 PR. The last 2 games without Cam Thomas, he had 21 and 20 PR. This is the highest rated points plus rebounds matchup on in our model today. So I think this is a no-brainer. Look, he's just clearing this by a mile.
Yeah, so he's a center, right? So I think it's worth kind of also just being clear that Claxton was not playing in a bunch of those games. But if you take Nick Claxton, we go to this combo props and filter section, and we say, show me the games with Claxton without Simmons. Still pretty good, right? Yeah. Not pretty good, very good. 12.5 PR, and he hit 20 and 21 against Orlando, who's decent at rebounding. Yeah. Points I think is probably good. A good play by itself at 6.5 points. Rebounding I think is also probably, that was the play I had. I had him for 5.5 rebounds. I think that's a really strong play. That's where he's getting most of his clearance from. But why'd you go with PR?
I just like the combination of the two. I mean, look, he had like the 12 rebounds right there. And I don't know. I think they're both individually good plays as well. I just thought it gave a little bit more wiggle room. And I don't know. It was the first, the number one matchup in the model there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm seeing a lot of green. The model's telling me to play it. So let's just follow suit.
Yeah. I think the only other data point to look at is against Miami at 5 points and 7 rebounds. So he came close on the PR last time he played Miami. But he did clear the rebounds. So I think that's why I was favoring the rebounds over the points and rebounds. But I think they're both good plays. I think he has the potential to clear that by a bunch. So, all right. Who else do you have on Brooklyn?
I had Lonnie, but it sounded like you did too. So you want to take it?
No, go ahead.
So I liked Lonnie Walker over 9.5 points, minus 115 on FanDuel. Something seems off to me though. Am I missing something here?
It's not just Lonnie, Jaquez, like Lonnie, Sharpe. Like it just feels like all the lines today were released. Everything that was released an hour ago was released like 30% too low, which is scary because
like what are we missing? Something doesn't seem right here. I'm like, who's trying to trick me? I mean, he's cleared this by a lot in 9 of 10 games this season. Why is this line at 9.5? He had 17 points against Miami on November 1st. I don't know. Something is a little fishy here.
Yeah, and it's not like the Nets have had people in and out of their lineup, and that's obviously fluctuated Lonnie's playing time. If you look, he's played as much as like 28 minutes and then as low as like 13. So I think that's the variability that is hard to predict. But the games where he's playing like 14, 15 minutes, he's still scoring like 11, right? And the ones where he's playing big minutes, he's scoring like 20. So it feels like a good spot. I am always worried when a team is playing another, the same team twice, what that repeat performance is going to look like, especially when it was just a few weeks ago. But I think it's.
I don't know about. I mean, 2 weeks ago is. I don't like it when it's like back to back or like a game later. But I think that's over 2 weeks ago. I think we're good on that.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So yeah, I think he gets 15 to 20 minutes tonight. Which he's cleared this line every single game this season with that. And even if you look back to last year, I didn't actually pull this chart up, but he's had pretty good success. When he gets the minutes, he's over that 10 point mark. So let's go with Lonnie. Lonnie 9.5 points tonight. -1.
I think last time I played Lonnie Walker was in the maybe the Western Conference Finals on a very sneaky like 2 threes play that cashed. I remember that one being very exciting.
I remember you delivering that on the podcast and me thinking, wow, that's like really out there. And then it cashed very quickly in the game. So
yes.
So yeah, in Lonnie we trust. Let's go.
That's right.
All right. Anybody else in this game?
That's all I had.
Just a quick lean. This is more of a lean than a play, but I think Bridges rebounds is probably a pretty good play here. Look at that. 4.5 rebounds. He's cleared in almost every game this season. Against Miami this season, he had 7 rebounds. I don't know. I think the absence of Ben Simmons opens up a lot of rebounds for this team, right? He's usually grabbing 9, 10 rebounds, and Claxton isn't really that much of a rebounding force. So I think that's another play. It's probably my least favorite of all these, but I was looking at that. I think if you can get this down to 4 as part of a parlay, then it's like a home run. So just more food for thought there.
Nice. All
right. Let's look. Nothing in the chat. I don't know. We might have an issue with the chat today because I don't even see the message I sent going through. So we'll have to try that next time. But anyway, let's go to the next game. We got the Thunder at the Warriors. The Thunder are 7-4. Warriors are 6-6. Weird thing about the Warriors is they're 1-4 at home this year. So they're actually doing the opposite of what they did last year, right? They couldn't win a game on the road to start the season and were winning every game at home. Now they're doing the opposite. They're winning on the road, losing at home. So Curry out again tonight, it looks like, and Draymond is going to go over to the WWE and show off more moves over there because I don't know what he's doing on the basketball court, but that was crazy. But he's out. I think he was suspended 5 games, so he'll be out for a little while. Any commentary on Gobert getting put in a headlock?
I saw it. I had missed it in my being laid up over the past few days, but I finally got to see it yesterday, and yeah, it was quite interesting. Not something you see normally on an NBA court, and I think I saw some stuff that like Draymond was it Gobert maybe that said it? Like Draymond was like trying to get himself thrown out of the game because he like didn't want to play in a game that Steph wasn't playing. So instead of asking Steve Kerr to take the day off, he just went and did some crazy stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, he just got himself a week of vacation.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's talk about tonight though. The Warriors are getting 3.5 points at home. Total is 226.5. These two teams did play earlier in the season. That was a wild finish. Warriors won that 141-139 in OKC. That was the game where it came down to like a last second shot and Draymond I think tipped it in. And it was definitely a goaltend, and for some reason they reviewed it and gave it to him, and they won the game. So I'm sure the Thunder are coming in with a chip on their shoulder. It is worth saying that SGA didn't play in that game, so the Warriors were fully loaded, and SGA didn't play in that game, and they only lost by 2 in a game that should have gone to overtime. So this 3.5 point spread seems a little low, given what the Warriors are playing with tonight. So I would probably play Thunder minus 3.5 as my first play. But in terms of props, what's working for you on the matchups?
All right. Scoring wise, we could look at combo guards against Golden State and against OKC. Wings and also combo guards are in nice spots here. Rebounding wise, forwards and bigs. So your big men against OKC are in a nice spot for rebounds and assists. We have bigs versus Golden State, very nice. And then bigs and combo guards against OKC, also very nice. So let's start right there with the assists. I like Chet Holmgren over 2.5 assists. It was plus 100 on DK, I think. He had the highest assist output of his career in that game against Golden State with 5. He's cleared this in 6 of his last 8. And if you scroll down and just look at center, look at center assists versus Golden State. It's a lot of green checks there. Yeah. I mean, Rudy Gobert with 3 assists. I think if Gobert can do it, Chet can do it.
Yeah. I mean, this was actually one of the first plays I looked at. I didn't write it down because I was a little turned off by the fact that SGA didn't play in that game. So I think that was a big contributing factor to why Chet had 5 assists. There was also 280 points scored in that game, and the line for tonight is 226.5. So I think there's going to be a lot less scoring compared to the first matchup. Although I could see that going over. So I think I would almost throw out that data point against Golden State. So if you didn't have that and you're just looking at the other 7 games around that, right? What do you still like this play at 2.5?
I do. Yeah. I mean, that was like the icing on top. I like the performance of by centers in general against them. Obviously he's got no Draymond to deal with. So yeah, I think this is good.
Yeah, I think so too. The only other comment, Chet scored 24 points in that game. Again, no SGA, so that opens up 30 points of scoring for everybody. Chet's coming off of a 9-point performance against the Spurs on national TV. So I could see him bouncing back in this spot from a scoring standpoint, but I like the assist. I think that's a nice play. I think his RA is also a nice angle to go. I would love to get that down to 9.5 if you could. But I think they're all good plays. So, all right. What else do you got on OKC side?
That was all I had on OKC.
All right, let's talk about. I don't even know if I'm saying this guy's name right. Cason Wallace.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did have Cason Wallace. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
No, take it.
Oh, so I didn't even really know who this guy was. I think he played for Kentucky last year. 10th overall pick in the draft, which I think came through the Mavs, and then eventually went to Oklahoma City. But 6.5 points, pretty good. I could see this game potentially being a blowout. If not a blowout, a high-scoring game where Wallace gets some good run. In the game against Golden State, he had 13 points, but he's a point guard. SGA was out that game, so he probably played big minutes. That looks like the biggest minutes of his season, 30-something minutes. But even when he's around 20 minutes, he's hitting this mark in most of these games. So athletic young guy, I think he's going to get 7 points tonight. Not a lot of data to go off of. What else do you got for?
I mean, this was one of the matchups I called out. He's in our model as a combo guard, and I mentioned at the beginning, combo guards against Golden State. Probably the best scoring matchup in this game. He's 100th percentile corner 3 guy at his position. And we look at some other combo guards who like do their scoring at the rim and from corner 3. You have some guys like Killian Hayes who put up 21 points against them. Matt Ryan put up 12 points against them. And he himself had 13 points against Golden State on November 3rd. So I thought that was leading us down the path where we think Carson Wallace can score 7+ points today.
You wanted to say Carson Wentz, didn't you?
I almost said Carson Wentz.
It's not even Carson. It's Kaysen.
Kaysen.
Don't disrespect the rookie. Come on. I like this PRA as well. It's actually got a higher hit rate, 10.5 PRA. He kind of contributes all over the place, right? He's decent at rebounding. He had 5 rebounds last game. Decent at assisting, right? 1.5 assists is his line there. So points, PRA. I think they're both good plays here tonight. 6.5 points is just so tempting, though, right? Right? It's so low. So another low line that looks deceiving, but let's go with it, right? 6.5 points for Kaysen Wallace. All right. Anybody else on the Oklahoma City side?
No.
Just one other trend. So just another cool way to find some props in addition to looking at the matchups. What I'd like to do each day is I just go out to the main screen on props.cash and I just go to the props and I go from points to assists to rebounds. I just go down the list and I literally just look every day which is the top hit rate, right, for 2023. Let's just see if there's somebody that stands out. One of the guys that stood out, we have a play out for already today. That was Nicholas Claxton. So go to our X page. You'll see the play for Claxton, a little block party. But Lou Dortz was also popping out. Look at that, 82% hit rate this year on blocks. For plus 105, you can get 1 block. So I thought that was interesting in this game, in the game against Golden State. He did not get it. So I think that's why you're getting the value. This is the game this year where he had 0, but he's literally gotten 5 straight games with a block. So, I don't love block plays that much, so I'm not making this one official, but I just want to point out the trend. It is interesting. At plus money, you got something that has happened 82% of the games this year.
Pretty good.
All right. Let's go to the Warriors side. What do you like over there?
I didn't have anything on the Warriors. I don't know. With Steph and Draymond being out, I don't know. So much in flux that I don't know. I think Chris Paul assists is probably a good spot with Steph and Draymond out. But if you look at the hit rates, I mean, he's only cleared 9.5. I think his line's 9.5. He's done it once this season, twice, whatever. That's points. So I'm just laying off Golden State in this game. Like you said, I think that there's a good chance maybe this blows out. So I don't know. What were you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, in that game against Oklahoma City, Chris Paul had 13 assists. So that's why his line is so high today, in addition to obviously to Steph being out. He'll get over 30 minutes tonight. But, that game was in OKC where Chris Paul played. That game had 280 points, which is probably not going to happen tonight. So I actually think under is a good play on Chris Paul. I was initially looking at his assist, 9.5. But that's where his game is the strongest. So if there's one stat where he's going to excel, it's going to be assists. Rebounding, he's kind of a 4 or 5 rebound guy. Points, he's really not scoring that much, but he did clear 14.5 points last game with about 36 minutes. I think he played. But I think the best way to handle this is PRA. Look at his PRA at 28.5. I would go under that at minus 110. He's only cleared this in 1 of 12 games this season. And if you go back to 30 games, right? If we look all the way back to last year, the last 30 games, he's only cleared this in 5 of his last 30 games. Obviously different team. But he doesn't, I don't think he's got 29 PRA in him anymore. What do you think?
I like that angle. That's always good. If you got somebody you're looking to fade, I think, and just go combine all of them together and go under. That's definitely a strategy we've employed before. So I like that. That's a lot of red there. I like that.
A lot of red. And just to reiterate what I said before, SGA did not play in that first game, right? So he was being guarded probably by Mr. Kaysen Wallace. Now SGA is going to be in the game, probably more of a tough defensive matchup. So under 28.5 point PRA for Chris Paul.
All right. Nice.
I also kind of like Andrew Wiggins, 4.5 rebounds. I think that's also a nice play. If you look at this year, started out the year slow, five straight games with only hitting in one, but in the last 7 games, he's cleared with 4.5. We got a write-up coming out on props.cash with more details on this one. So go to the props.cash blog in an hour or so, and you should be able to see the rest of the details on this one. So
nice. Very good.
That's all I got.
All right. Nice work. We'll I don't know why the chat wasn't working today. We'll have to look into that, but nice pod. We'll get a few of these up on X, and let's all enjoy the games and make some money tonight. Go Jaime Jaquez.